The Apocalypse players present Saturnine Chalice, a Call of Cthulhu 7th edition scenario written by Matt Sanderson. Having broken loose from prison, 3 hardened convicts find themselves speeding through the back roads of the Miskatonic Valley. Their only concern, to outrun the long arm of the law.
I'm not a very good driver, actually, but I mean, so long as it's flat road.
Inside, we find Zachary J. Crumb, played by Joseph Chance, an illicit distiller and anxious tinkerer of a profoundly nervous disposition. Right-hand man to the vast figure sat next to him.
And I imagine with every bump of the road, my rolls of glorious flesh reverberating around the leather of the back seat.
Clarence Ulysses Bernard, or Cub, a loquacious and corpulent confidence trickster and brains of the operation, played by Dan Wheeler.
And I imagine with every bump of the road, I'm flicking my long, lank black hair out of my one good eye, just to keep my focus.
And at the wheel, Remy Knuckles LeBlanc, played by Danann McAleer, a hardened and unhinged menace in charge of the dirty work.
But it's a bright, crisp day, whizzing down these country roads. It being 1923, there hasn't been much in terms of automobiles down here. It's not designed for that, really.
All the other voices you hear, even the ones in your head, are played by Dominic Allen, the keeper of arcane law. We join our patchwork band of lawbreakers just as the manure hits the proverbial fan.
Remy, you're driving along, and there's something about the feel of the car doesn't quite feel right. You've been thinking about it for a while, and you're not quite sure what's wrong. You look at the instrument panel and give it a tap, and then you see that the needle of the fuel tank, the fuel gauge, just goes straight down to zero. You realise it's defective.
Yeah.
And this whole time it's been saying 3/4 of a tank for ages. You're actually running on empty.
Exactly.
And no sooner has that happened than the engine sputters, and you manage to freewheel it sort of just to the side of the road where there's a sort of turning. You haven't seen almost anything down here. This turning, it could be another track, it could be a farm, or it could be a private driveway.
Zachary,
either way.
Zachary, you fallen out with your sister lately? She's giving us a dud. This control panel's all off.
Yeah, what? I must have nodded off there. What's going on? Why are you slowing down? What is this place?
I'm just saying, your sister's giving us a dud. The control panel's all off. I had no way of knowing how much fuel we have.
No, that's not possible. I asked her for a full tank, and
yeah,
she said it was fourth hand, but what?
Fourth hand.
That's not possible. And I sort of stare at the I was about to say altimeter, at the fuel thing, slightly inappropriately, sort of climbing over his thigh, looking at it, and I'm raising my glasses. And I'm going, it can't be right. It can't be right. And I tap away at it.
Does he have those flick-up glasses with the extra lenses coming out like a...
He wants them. I don't think he was allowed them in prison, though.
No problem.
That will be his next on his list.
Yeah.
His unfortunate shock of infuriatingly indeterminate hair is, you can't tell whether it's blonde or grey or brown.
Yeah,
sort
Zachary,
of all of those.
I've always said your hair looks like a photograph of an explosion. Get it out of my head.
Do not concern yourselves, my good friends. I know the good Lord will provide for those of us in need. And as I say that, I take my my small revolver that I found in my locker out of my pocket and peer out the window. Say, I'm sure there will be a kindly good Samaritan passing by who may permit one of you to siphon some fuel out of his tank in return for whatever niceties we can offer him, I say, waving my pistol around in the air.
As you say that and you're looking around, it's hard to believe, perhaps, in Clarence's, in Cub's optimism for Remy and Zachary, because you know you haven't seen a car for at least 2 hours. You're way out in the sticks.
That's
but
right.
Cub, when you invoke the Almighty as your protector there, you do catch a sight at the crest of the hill. There's trees, but you can just about make out the roof of a big house, and it is at the top of this, what is quite clearly now a private driveway, a long private driveway through this sort of wooded area.
My friends, over there I see a kindly homestead. Perhaps the residence of some angels who will help us in our hour of need.
Yeah.
The car is stopped, right?
I think I pulled it to a halt, yeah.
Here, let me just, we'll be able to fix this up, I'm pretty sure. Let me have a little look at this. That's a good idea, Cub. I'm real sorry about this, Cub. This is embarrassing, and it'll be embarrassing for Charlie, too. She wouldn't have wanted to give us a dud. Let me just check this out. I forgot to say, Dom, that I've got a watchmaker's toolkit.
Okay.
Or a clock repairer's toolkit, technically. So it's only tiny things, small hammer, multiple small screwdrivers, but it sort of rolls out in one of those canvas roll-out, and he unrolls it, and he starts taking out he starts unscrewing the fascia of the thing, and he's really getting in there, and he just starts sort of tinkering away with stuff, pulling wires out and going, I'll just check this. Oh, I see where they've gone wrong here. Yeah, this is okay, well, that's wired all wrong. That's why. And he starts sort of he's pulling loads of stuff out and putting it on his seat in a slightly nervous, obsessive way.
Yeah, boss. Maybe we head up to that car, that homestead, just in case. I ain't doubting you, Zachary, but just in case, we got a spare motor up there. You never know.
Oh no, yeah, sure. I'll take. I'll put all this back later if we come back to it. And I start shove it in my pockets. I rip out a few wires slightly randomly, and I put them in my pockets.
I say, that sounds like a fine idea. If you're going to take some time over that piece of machinery, I could do with stretching my legs. And I open the door and let one of my legs just sort of fall out of the side of the car and go, that feels better.
The car pitches up slightly.
Ain't that about a bitch?
So unfortunately, it's a bit of a walk.
Well, are we going on foot, gentlemen?
Well, I would be very happy to stay here and watch your possessions if you want to wander up to the house yourselves.
That sounds like a good idea, Cub. Why don't Remy and I'll go up and have a look? Is that right, Remy?
Yeah,
I'll go on southern.
There ain't no need to stay here, boss. Who knows what happens when two gentlemen of fortune like ourselves turn up at a worthy house. People could get frightened.
Also, Cub, I should say, you've been out in this strange car for a while now, and they might let you use a wash basin.
That's true. The realization comes over me. I sort of, as my leg tumbles out of the car, I get a sort of whiff of my own odor, and I say, actually, I wonder if it might be possible for me to splash some water on my face.
Yeah.
And
that's
so
right.
I do ease myself out of the car and drag myself to my sort of full height. I'm tall as well. I'm like sort of 6'4" and enormous.
Oh.
I look quite imposing. But yeah, you'd never guess that I was a complete weakling.
Well, boss, while we head up the road, say we've run out of gas and fall upon the mercy of strangers, I suppose.
That's right.
Sure, yeah, that sounds like a decent plan. Can't believe this car doesn't work. It's a real shame. I kicked the tire. Damn it.
Yeah. It's
Charlie,
your sister.
damn it.
It's your sister, not you. It's, maybe she only just got it.
Let's not make no excuses, Remy. We all know this was my part of the plan.
Yeah, I just
he starts flicking one of the pieces of metal he's taken out of the car in between his fingers, and then he takes the gauge and he just starts to fiddle around with the bottom of it.
As he does that, I look for my craps dice and realize I don't have them no more. Obviously, that's contraband in prison, so I click my knuckles, and I get a bit twitchy.
Bunch of fidgety morons.
I look at them fidgeting and sort of smile to myself and calmly start walking up the track towards the house.
Luckily, it's a mild afternoon, and the walk up to the house ends up being very pleasant. The woodland is sort of very nice, and before long, you find yourselves in front of a large house set in nicely appointed grounds. The grass is maybe a bit unkempt, but it looks like a very nice house. It has a cupola at the top and a few chimney stacks. It has a completely circular driveway around it. So you're arriving from the south, and the house sits in the middle of this sort of little garden. And around the edge of the driveway, you can make out a small sort of Greco-Roman style building to the right, and what looks to be a sort of garage stables structure to the left. The rest is heavy woods.
Gee, Cub, those woods look awful heavy. Glad we're not in there, huh? This is quite some pile.
That's right. I'm sure these people have an automobile they wouldn't mind letting us borrow, or perhaps
Well,
a supply of fuel that we could help ourselves to. And as I say that, I look around. Can I see any sign of any vehicles?
You would guess that there's probably one in the garage there.
well, boss, you want I should go and check out the vehicles while you see whether or not Mr. and Mrs. are home?
I lick my hand and I try and tamp my hair down as if I'm preparing to back Cub up in one of his ineffable social engagements, ineffable to me at least. But my hair just sort of springs back up, wild.
I take a look at them both and say, I think, Mr. LeBlanc, it might not be a bad idea for you to stay out of sight when we approach the house. Maybe the garage would be a good place for you to investigate. Stay within earshot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I will. And I immediately, like a spider who's felt a little tap on that web, I sort of scuttle across the grass, weaving in and out of the bushes at the side.
Excellent. So you're heading to the garage.
Yeah.
And so what do Cub and Zachary do?
Mr. Crumb, how do you feel about just simply asking the kind people if they have a can of gasoline that we could take off their hands? They seem not to be short of a few dollars, and maybe they wouldn't mind all that much.
I think that if that's what you think, then I think that's a very good idea. I wonder, are they windows that I can see up there? Is anybody even in?
You can. The curtains are open, and it looks like the rooms are illuminated. They have electric lights, which are on.
Electric lights.
How do you want to get closer to the windows?
Not yet, unless Cub wants to. I sort of defer to him.
How far are we saying we've got away from? How far away have we got? Like,
are we at the start of the path?
No, I mean, like, do you think? Maybe this is an in-character discussion. Do you think?
Yeah.
Zachary, do you think that my caution's got the better of me? Is there any chance that word might have got out that there were a couple of, I hate to be so crude, but escaped convicts in this part of the country, or
fugitives. Yeah. No, I see. I don't think we want to. I don't think we want to make too much noise. I understand that. Maybe if you could do a little bit of the old cubby magic on them, you could. They'd let us have a jerry can of petrol, and then we could be on our way.
Well, I have an idea I could try, and I start approaching the front door.
Okay.
Hooey, I say. And I rub my hands. Keen to see the man at work.
So what are you doing, Crumb? You're accompanying him up to the door.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, then in which case, both of you can give me a spot hidden roll as you walk up to the door if you wish.
I've rolled an extreme success.
Oh, so have I.
Hey!
Weird.
Fuck.
0-2. Yeah. Bonkers.
Well, the first thing you notice is you both get this whiff as you approach the house of sort of cinnamon
and cloves and sandalwood, lavender. And you see that in the flower bed near the porch, there is a large pit of filled with ashes, and that's where the smell's coming from. You realise that it's, well, incense presumably, or whatever. It's, you know, some sort of floral ash that's where they dump it. You can see that it's obviously been going on for a while because it looks completely different to the rest of the flower bed. And then you get to the front door. Next to the front door itself has stained glass windows in it. So you can't quite see through them. But you can see through the window into the sort of the main front room. And as you both glance, you see a face staring back at you. This sort of expressionless face of a man with a big beard. And at first it sort of unnerves you, and then you realise it's actually a bust. It's a statuette, but life-size bust, facing out of the window at you, of this sort of patrician-looking gentleman with a tie and a suit.
This is sort of 19th century type, or
could easily be modern.
Okay.
As in 1923.
Sure. Yeah, it's not like oldie-timey, but...
No, but dressed formally, definitely. What do you do?
It's, that's an interesting combination of smells.
It's,
What is that? Was that...
that smells to me like cinnamon, sandalwood, lavender, cloves.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting, too.
It's a beautiful combination.
What is that? What's that? Why would you burn that? That's quite a pile, too. You described it as a pit, right?
Yeah, like a small... Like they've dug a hole.
Yeah.
And perhaps not a very deep hole, but it's a lot of ash.
Is there anything that I would recognise that would be the process, the byproduct process of?
You could give me an occult roll.
Joseph has no idea. Oh, I was going to do kind of like chemistry or...
yeah.
Or maybe education.
Chemistry would work.
Chemistry?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God. From 02 to 72, and I have 70 chemistry. I'm going to push the roll.
Yeah,
Not going to
facing it.
spend those 2 points of luck.
I step down onto the... No way, man. I mean, it's a 70% chance, right? I mean, why would we... What would Scott Dorwood do? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. He'd push the roll.
He's a gambler.
He'd roll mythos.
As he's creeping closer, I say, Zachary, my friend, what a man chooses to do in his own home is of no concern of ours. I suggest you leave well alone.
I unconsciously find my hands reaching for the spanner to tighten a screw onto this removed fuel gauge that I've taken out, and I attach another bit of metal to the top of it, screwing in, and I think, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I guess you're right, Mr. Cubber. I'll come back. Yeah, he's right. I'll spend the 2 luck.
Okay.
Yeah, he is right.
The quality of the ash, the colour of it, and the smell leads you to conclude that this is incense. It's definitely incense, but in quite a large volume. So either they burn a lot of incense in the house, or they've been doing it for a long time.
We're talking like the size of a couple of men's heads worth of stuff here. Why I'm measuring in men's heads? That's dark,
yeah,
and inappropriate, and frankly scary. But I don't. Obviously,
so
that's because I'm scared now.
This is 2 men's heads of incense ash.
It's because of that fucking bust of yours. That's why.
It's not, for example, the size and shape of a grave. It's not that big.
No.
And it doesn't look like the stuff has been burnt there. It looks like it's been dumped there.
Correct.
I skip back to Mr. Bernard and I say, yeah, no, you're right, Cubby. Of course you are. So what you going to go with? What you going to say? Or is it like you'll show us, right? I'll just wait here.
No, I would be...
try and pick up some tips.
I always used to work with a partner, and I'd be glad to make that partner you today, Zachary. I feel you have all the requisite skills to help me in my endeavor. So one of my usual routines is to masquerade as a Bible salesman.
My eyes glisten with moistness.
Another is itinerant musician.
I take out a notepad and start writing.
Yet another is a poor man who's trying to get to his wife in hospital in the next state.
Wife in hospital. Oh, so good.
Tell me, any of these particular take your fancy? I'm leaning towards Bible salesman myself.
That was my inspiration too.
Very good. And I turn and I rap on the door.
I do my jacket up, straighten my tie.
As soon as you knock on the door, a voice greets you from the other side. An older gentleman's voice. He says, "Oh, please do come in. I'm somewhat preoccupied at present. I can't open the door for you, I'm sorry. But if you just let yourselves in."
I call through the door and say, "Oh, forgive us for bothering you, kind sir, but we're a couple of itinerant Bible salesmen, and our automobile appears to have run out of gasoline. I was wondering if we might be able to bother you for a top-up."
"Oh, sorry? Why don't you come inside? I can't hear you very well. I'll just be a minute. Just come in. Let yourselves in. It's quite all right. I'm sure we can help you."
Could I do a psychology roll on his voice to see whether he's hiding anything?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a 0-1.
Even though you've rolled a critical success, it's very hard to gauge what he means.
Because he's a mythos entity.
It's just you've got it's hard to say.
Yeah, okay.
You're unsure. Read into that what you will.
Oh no, we left our Bibles in the trunk of the car.
Does Zachary say that?
Oh yeah.
"Oh, we've got Bibles, but we don't need Bibles."
Oh no, we're not selling the Bibles unless that's something you're interested in. And we just wanted to.
What?
Interesting. He heard him, and now he's pretending not to hear me.
I mean, I did shout. Perhaps
Can we see the garage from where we are? Can we see?
Yeah, good question.
Yes, you can.
Actually, maybe I wander over. I wince, and I realise that I've made a bit of a mistake there. And I wander just to the left of the portico.
I'd just like to sort of maybe have a look over and see what Knuckles is up to.
Well, let's find out.
In fact, I follow your lead. To do that.
So, Knuckles, you've scuttled over to the garage.
Yeah,
You find. Do you go inside?
I do indeed.
So, it's actually a converted stable. That's the first and most apparent thing. There are 3 doors and 3 stalls inside. The leftmost stall, you can see there is a 1913 Rolls-Royce, what later gets known as the Silver Ghost. There are workbenches and there are racks of tools and spare parts, and
All right.
you can see a red 2-gallon tin gasoline can on the bench. The middle stall is full of old equestrian equipment gathering dust, and no sign of a horse. Doesn't look like there's been a horse in here for a long time. And it looks like it's been sort of converted into a bit of a workshop. There's sort of woodworking tools and there's piles of white pine offcuts
All right.
just lying all like in a pile. And finally, the rightmost stall seems to be full of gardening equipment, hand tools. There's a lawnmower and a chainsaw, that sort of stuff. What do you want to do?
I want to have a look back. Well, I've seen the jerry can, so my mechanical repair ain't so good, but I know a car when I see one. My first thing is to, the workbench is near me. I don't think I've had time to pick up a gun or anything like that since we so recently broke free. So I would like to pick up, anything that looks interesting. Perhaps a set of pliers, a chisel, anything along those lines. Slip a couple of those into the jacket that Charlie, I think it was, who gave us the car, Zachary's sister, is that right? Slip a couple of items into my jacket, but my first real port of call is straight to the jerry can and to look about for a sizable piece of hose, if there isn't.
You can find a sizable piece of hose. The jerry can, as you lift it, you realise is empty.
That's what I was expecting. So I want to flip the hubcap and give a good long suck on that hose once I've slipped it down into the petrol tank. See if I can feel anything under there.
Well, the Silver Ghost, which you might know, to access the fuel tank, you have to actually get under the car.
Ah, right. Of course.
So you get down underneath it and find the fuel cap, and you take it off and you get the hose in there. And while you're down there, could you give me a listen roll?
I certainly could. Here we are. Now we're getting into the thick of it, brothers. That is a 61 on my 55 listen.
Oh, 55 as well. It's good. Damn.
Yeah, you don't hear anything, but
It's close.
it becomes apparent after a bit of sucking that there's no gas in the.
Jeez. I spit out the sort of the dreg powder.
And as you do that, as you look to the side to do that,
Yeah.
you see a pair of feet.
I freeze.
They're stood right next to the car. They are bare feet, pallid grey. The toenails are broken, and the feet are lacerated, but bloodless. They're covered in clumps of dirt, and
Probably reminds me a lot of my own face on the rare occasion I have a chance to look in the mirror,
yes,
which scares me. Because I know people are scared of me, and that's for that reason. Whoever this is, they've known hardship.
Well, actually, can you give me a sanity roll?
Oh, yeah. Because people don't normally sneak up on me that easy. Not especially with cloven feet and scarred toes, and I don't like the sound of that, not much at all. That is a 97 on my 85 sanity, but it is fair.
Oh, unbelievable.
So you lose a point of sanity.
Of course I do. Yeah.
Because you immediately recognize the pallor of this. This is, you've only ever seen this on dead bodies, long dead bodies.
Drowned
And you
bodies.
scuttle out from under the car and stand up to discover there is no one there.
Fuck
One there.
that. And I've reached into my pocket to get the chisel out that I pulled off the work surface, and I'm swinging around like mad, but there's no one there. I think I don't want to attract extra attention, but I think I give a couple of gator sounds, a couple of arr, arr, sort of growls, just to see if it draws anyone out without, but I'm assuming there's nothing.
Nothing. So back at the house,
Unbeknownst to us.
you can see that the garage door, one of the garage doors is slightly ajar, so Knuckles has presumably gone inside, but he hasn't emerged yet. Well, are you coming in or not?
Now, Zachary, what he can pronounce his R's a bit better than that. Zachary, my friend, why do you say about this gentleman appears to be indisposed? Maybe if there's a vehicle or a can of gasoline in the garage, he wouldn't mind if we were to just help ourselves to it. Perhaps you could go and tell Knuckles that's the plan, and I could keep this man occupied by talking through the door here.
Oh,
Unless
okay.
you have a better plan.
That sounds like a good
I
plan.
don't want to impose my own ideas upon you. You're a sharp young man with a bright future ahead of yourself, and I'm sure you have all sorts of exciting ideas and plans for how we might get that car back on the road.
No, I think it's a good idea.
Yes,
and
it
you know,
is.
the door's open. He's gone in. I'll take your lead, Mr. Cub.
At that moment, you hear this metallic clatter from inside the house, and the voice goes, "Oh, are you there? Are you still there?"
I give Zachary a little nod and turn to the door and say, "Oh, yes, sir, we're still here.
Could you give me a hand? So, I'm sorry to impose.
I mime a gesture of should I still go to Clarence.
I hold up a hand as in like don't go quite yet, and I say
I stay.
I say I'm afraid we are unable to offer assistance because sadly we are blind.
Can you give me a...
My eyes go wide with
You
inspiration.
both give me spot hidden rolls.
I love that.
Ironically. I could spend 1 point of luck to make that hard success. Or is it
A
not
regular
needed?
success is fine.
It's a regular success.
I'm so in awe of the suggestion. I have no idea what's going on around me. I'm just thinking. I put my hands up as if I'm practicing to be blind.
Now that you're quite close to the door, and maybe the clatter's drawn your focus a little bit, you can see through the stained glass. Everything's sort of in sort of monochromatic red or whatever. You can see the hallway in the house, and you can see that in the middle of the hallway at the foot of the stairs is an older gentleman. He's dressed in he looks like a butler, and he's lying prone on the floor, and a stepladder has sort of, he's obviously lost his footing and fallen off the stepladder, and he's raised his head slightly to talk to you, and that seems to be the scene inside the hallway, and he's still going, "Oh, please, I just need I can't get up."
Oof. I think I lean towards Bernard, desperately taking the risk of a whisper, and I say, "Hey, Cub, we can still get out of this, right? We could say that we're blind in the way of the truth or something. I don't know. You sure about this?"
Yes, I think you have a good point. It came to me like a flash of inspiration from the Lord, but now I feel that perhaps it has somewhat backed us into a corner. I believe we could. In fact, I believe that if he is incapacitated as he appears, he maybe won't even have noticed we said it. But my question is this an invitation? Is this a call from the Lord for us to act, provide succor to this fallen man? Or is it an opportunity for us to take what we need and create a new life for ourselves without bothering this gentleman?
Well, I believe in the world God, and I'd say it was both. So, don't look a gift horse in the mouth till you see the whites of its eyes, and all that. Let's get in there, I say, and we help him, and maybe I'll go back and tell Remy that you keep him busy, you do your thing, and I'll make sure that we get something in the car. I don't think we're attracting too much heat, maybe. If he's on the floor, we're helping him out. Maybe a few things wouldn't be missed. Anyway, what do you think? Let's get in there. I see him thinking, the Titan thinks, and I just I hover, slightly hopping from one foot to the other.
I'm thinking, Zachary, if I'm honest, that what we need in this situation is gasoline or a vehicle. Either of those things are going to be in the garage. There's nothing in the house we need except for a man lying on the floor who may lay eyes on us and be able to report our movements to the authorities. That's my thought.
No,
I feel differently.
That's good thinking.
This is a very wealthy establishment. If he's here alone, maybe we could help ourselves to... What time of day is it?
It's like middle of the afternoon.
And basically the middle of nowhere, right? Well, it's west of Arkham where the hills rise wild.
And there are woods that no axe has ever cut.
I turn and look at them and I say, "Those woods are heavy, huh?"
That's right, they surely are. All right, Zachary. I will bow to your youth and bravery. Let's go in and see what this man needs and see what he may be able to offer us in return. So I push the door open.
The door is unlocked, as he said it was, and you walk into a very nicely appointed hallway. It looks like the guy was fixing or trying to fix the chandelier that is above him, an electric chandelier. There's a stairway. There's a staircase on your left that winds up there, upstairs. There's a variety of paintings on the walls of sort of landscapes, and there's a telephone table, a sort of that kind of thing, and doors off. But as you step through, and he turns into a horrible monster. He doesn't. I was going to check back in with Knuckles. So, what do you do, Knuckles?
So I've been holding out this chisel, just looking at the space where this person should be, but ain't. I think the first thing I do is go as quiet as I can around the building. There ain't no petrol in the car. There's no gasoline. So, I keep the chisel out, and I just want to see where this person's gone. Because I'm sure I saw this person. I lost his point of sanity. So as far as I'm concerned, they're real. So, yeah.
You go, around? You're going around the garage?
Through the garage, round the corners, and then do a little loop of the garage.
You see nothing.
In which case, I re-enter the garage, and then I think about what to do next. I'm confused. I can't see them anymore, so I assume they're inside. But I'm also aware that my appearance is somewhat of an off-putting thing to if they're working their magic. So
I should say, actually, as you're walking around the garage, you do see something you didn't see as you approached the house from the south, which is north of the house. There is what looks to be a well.
I have no interest in no well. Can I see as I'm re-entering the garage? I think I want to see what they've been working on here. Just because I'm looking through the tools and it interests me. But I saw the white pine shavings, was it? Or was it white pine?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can I tell, is there anything they've propped up against the wall that they've been making? Or
There's nothing in here that's made of that.
Just shape.
So whatever was shaped or made in here has been moved elsewhere.
But can I tell anything from the general layout or the tools involved? Could I do maybe... My intelligence isn't great necessarily, but could I tell anything from that? Like what sort of setup this was?
Probably the only thing you can tell is that there's been quite a lot of it that's been cut.
Regular work. In which case, I make a decision and I sprint from the... Give a look out, but then I sprint to the wall of the house so I can be close to the house and maybe try and hear their voices at a window or something near the doorway. I'm a man of action, you see.
As you're coming past the west side of the building, you do notice something slightly unusual. There is something that appears to be drifting down the side of the building.
Which building's this? The main building?
The main house. That you couldn't see this from the front. It's on the side of the building.
Yeah.
It's drifting down from a balcony above the veranda.
Yeah.
And it's drifting back across the west side of the house. It's very fine, like snowflakes, but somehow smaller and yeah, it's this sort of like white dust.
I don't stop.
Hard to be exactly sure what it is.
I'll make the wall, but I may, as I have my back to the wall, see if any of those particles have picked up on my clothes.
Give me a luck roll.
Yeah. Seems about right.
Dom, was this on the house or the garage?
This is the house.
That's a failure.
No, none of it's caught you. It's all.
But I can still see it in the air.
In the breeze.
Like particles. Like blossom.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like spores.
In which case, I try to position myself under a window nearest to the door, see if I can hear any conversations between the others going on inside.
So when you say nearest the door, do you mean at the front room?
Yeah, well, wherever I feel they may have gone in. I went to the garage before they'd even approached the house. I'm assuming here. I'm sort of sidling along the house with my back to it, just lingering beneath each window and see if I can hear anything.
Well, one of the windows you go past, it's a library, and there's a fire going in the hearth, but there's no one in there.
Oh.
But then you sort of make your way round to the front of the house, by which point Crumb and Cub have gone inside.
Right.
You can probably hear them talking, but can you also give me an intelligence roll?
Yeah. Probably won't amount much. That's a fail.
There's something that's bothering you, but you can't think what it is, so...
Yeah. Shit.
Meanwhile, Crumb and Bum.
Crumb and Bum.
Crumb and Bum.
I smell me. Calm.
Crumb and Cub, you've gone into the hallway. where this gentleman is on the floor, and he says, Oh, thank you for, yes, sorry, I was mending the chandelier, and, I lost my footing, and now it doesn't get any easier. And he sort of tries to get himself up, and he sort of holds out his hand for aid.
I try to stay, if possible, just sort of out of his eye line, just so he can't get a good look at my face or size.
I perch on Clarence Ulysses Barnard's left knee and go, oh, no, I don't. Ah, different game. Damn it. I sort of peer round the side of Cub, not quite getting what he's doing, so my face is visible, but I'm really intrigued as to what's going on in this room, particularly by the fact that he was trying to... I mean, it's the afternoon, and it's not winter, so why is he lighting everything? I don't understand why he's lighting everything. I saw lights on in the other windows, and he's trying to keep this room lit.
It is a bit odd, isn't it?
And I'm just... I think I can't help it. I'm just curious like that, and a bit naive when it comes to not showing my face. And I've also got half of a toy made out of a speed gauge and some random bits of a car in my left hand. And it almost looks like I'm doing a sort of puppet show over the side of the vast flank of Clarence Barnard.
Seeing you, Mr. Crump, he says, would you mind giving me a hand up? It's not the first time this has happened.
Oh, my dear man, you shouldn't be attempting this on your own. It's dangerous to be sending a stepladder in a house when no one else is here. Oh!
I instinctively and naively take a step forward. I don't know if Barnard's going to do anything about that, but...
As you're taking a step forward and you were pondering the relevance of fixing the chandelier, and you can give me a spot hidden if you wish.
I'm going to pocket my automaton. I have passed my spot hidden. Not a hard, but a good success, a solid success.
You look at the work he's been doing. The wires are still loose. The chandelier is lit. It's working. But the wires don't look like they're fixed.
Ooh. Engineering? Could I double check as to whether that's even possible? Or have I already worked out it isn't possible? Joseph will confess to knowing next to nothing about electrical engineering. That sounds to me like Joseph thinks that's not possible, is it? But am I being stupid?
You can give me you can by all means give me a roll.
I've got high engineer, so I've got high theory, bad practical. So my electrical repair is poor, 12, but my engineering is high.
Yeah, sure. Engineering's fine.
Yeah. That's an excellent success on engineering. 15 on 60.
It shouldn't be working. If that is the only wire, I mean, maybe there's another wire.
Yeah, maybe it's not. Maybe it's been rigged all wrong. Some of these old houses, they're real strange. And I think I say that out loud. I say some of these old houses, huh? But I still take the step forward.
As you say that, he says, yes, a lot of maintenance required. But that's I'm very happy with my lot here with the Waylands. As for your concern, sir, you needn't worry about being alone. I know I should probably have had someone foot the ladder, but we're not alone at all. Rosemary?
I'll try to help him up.
Oh, thank you. And he gets up. And then almost immediately...
Damn, we're in deep now.
Almost immediately a woman appears. She's maybe a bit younger than him. She's dressed not quite like a maid, but somehow suggestive of a maid. She has a very maternal energy as she comes in, and she's wearing a pinny. And she says, Oh, visitors. Well, come in. Please come in. Have you travelled? You must have travelled far. Tea? Coffee?
As she arrives, this is now 2 more people than I was hoping to encounter before we were safely out of the state. And I begin to feel the sweat behind my ears. And I start to get anxious, and I just say, "Oh, no, tea, coffee would not be necessary. We're just itinerant Bible salesmen who have run out of gasoline in our vehicle, which is parked at the end of your drive. But I wonder if I could." And I'm tugging at my collar, and I say, "I wonder if I could use your restroom."
Oh, yes, of course. I should say, Knuckles, you can probably hear all of this because the door's probably still open.
Great.
She says, "Oh, well, yes, it's just upstairs." And as she says just upstairs, you hear footsteps on the stairs. Someone is coming down the stairs.
Fuck.
And the man who appears on the staircase is the spitting image of the bust that you saw in the window. He's dressed relatively similarly as well. He has a big beard. It's clearly him. And he says, "Oh, well, who's this then? Visitors? We weren't expecting anybody. Forgive me. And he sort of comes down the stairs. He's quite he's portly, but he's sort of barrel-chested, you know. He's sort of robust. And he comes down the stairs and he says, welcome. Who are these people, Jeremiah? Friends of yours?" Jeremiah, presumably the butler, says, "Oh, no, they were just Bible salesmen, I think." "Oh, whoa. They've run out of gas."
That's right. Please don't let us intrude.
Oh,
I was hoping we would not even need to set foot into your beautiful home. But
Nonsense. Come in. And he claps you both on the back and sort of starts guiding you towards the front room.
And I feel his hand on my sweaty back, and I say, would it be possible to use the restroom immediately?"
Oh, yes. All I'd say is make yourselves at home, but it's upstairs. But please, if you could respect our privacy a little bit and only use the bathroom, that would be very kind.
Oh, naturally. And I move upstairs as fast as my
It's top of the stairs, walk to the end of the landing. It's the door at the front of the house, end of the landing.
An excellent place for a restroom, if I do say so.
Directly above us. Yes.
Carry on.
Do you want anything to drink?
Maybe just a cool glass of water.
Rosemary, water, please, and I'll have a coffee. And for you, sir?
I'll take water too. Thank you.
Two glasses of water, Rosemary, please. Just the two of you, is it? As he guides you, Crumb, into the front room.
I yelled down the stairs, "Yes!"
That's what I was waiting to hear.
Oh, yes. Yes. Just the two of us. Yeah, that's right, Mr. Wayland.
That's right, yes. Oh, sorry. I'm so bad with introductions. Very rarely get visitors. Augustus Wayland is my name. You can call me Augustus, of course. And this is Jeremiah, my help here, and his wife, Rosemary.
It's a pleasure.
And then he bellows, "Veronica! Guests! We have guests!"
Oh, God.
Christ.
There's so many of them.
Well, yes. Veronica, too. How lovely. And I squeeze my cap into a sort of turgid ring of worry as I stand there in presumably what's a really nice drawing room, is it? Or kind of entrance...
Well, Veronica emerges from a sort of room at the end of the staircase on the left. She comes out into the hallway, and then you all end up.
Rooms.
Jeremiah holds the door open for you. You all end up going into the front room, except for Rosemary, who disappears to get water. And yes, the room is a very nice lounge, and I'll tell you all about it. It's white panelled walls it's very bright in here. The fire is roaring. You notice the walls themselves are dominated by these 5 large portraits. There's a woman in a white ball gown, which is the largest above the fireplace. She is then pictured with Augustus, sort of together. It's sort of vaguely romantic sort of portrait. There's Augustus in a well-tailored suit, clearly what the bust is modelled on. There's Augustus with a child, a little girl, who you guess is this Veronica. They certainly bear resemblance. And then there's a portrait of Veronica in a university graduation gown holding a diploma. A piano occupies the northwest corner, a big chandelier in the centre, coffee table. You can see there's a recently lit cigar perched on the edge of an ashtray. There's 4 long sofas form a square around the sort of coffee table. And the mantelpiece is dominated by a big mantel clock of gold with 2 big candlesticks. And it's got a sort of Greco-Roman figure, a female sort of figure on the, carved into the clock. And there's the large bust in the window atop a sort of white marble pillar. Yeah.
Can I just double check? The diploma, the university diploma, was with a picture of Veronica as a slightly younger woman than she is now.
Not much,
but okay,
not much.
You must call me Gabriel, I say, for I bring the message of the Lord.
Well, hopefully it won't be the last angel we have in the house, eh, Veronica? And she sort of smiles. And then she says, he won't understand your joke, Father. Oh, yes, well, no, of course not. Well, anyway, take a seat. Let's relax.
I laugh awkwardly.
He picks up the cigar and gives a big puff on it and, do you smoke?
I go into my pocket to go for the cigarettes and realise I don't have any. And yes, I do smoke. It's a sin, but it's a vice. It's a vice, not a sin. But I do sometimes.
One moment. And he sort of walks over to there's like some sort of occasional table with, drawers. He takes out a humidor and proffers you a cigar.
This is too kind, but it seems rude of me not to say no.
Knuckles, you can hear all this going on.
What I'd like to say is, as soon as I hear the shout down the stairs from Cubby, from Clarence, I immediately start to circumnavigate the house outside. As soon as I hear there's only 2 of us, I'm aware that my job is now to be either unseen or to take people out silently, or whatever the situation demands. So I want to circle back round the house. I know there was one room with the library with no one in. I want to just basically, while I'm assuming they're all distracted, everyone's being called downstairs towards them, I want to circumnavigate the house and see what else I can see through the windows on the ground floor. I'm ignoring the well because I've no interest in the well. But if there's any other buildings around the site, I'm still.
Well, I can give you a quick rundown. So you're going to look through all the windows.
Yeah.
What I'll give you is I'll give you the map of the ground floor with the rooms marked on it.
That'd be perfect, because that's what I'm basically looking at. If there's a place I can get in, maybe to sort of hide or.
Yeah. So you sort of scuttle around the veranda. I imagine sort of you're going sort of anti-clockwise.
Yeah.
So the first window you see is the lounge, and you can see them all sat down enjoying cigars and.
So I duck my head very quick, but okay, at least they're safe or whatever.
You peer through the next window is a dining room, and the dining room is it's laid out. It's sort of blue pastel walls.
Ooh.
And in the center of the room is this huge dining table, and it's set a quick head count for like around 20 people.
Oh.
It's all laid out. The candles are lit. Yeah, it looks beautiful. And there's a big fireplace again. Again, it's all lit, roaring hearth. There's something that really bothers you about that. Can't quite work out why. You can see there are sideboards along the east wall.
Can I just check? Sorry, just while you're doing that. Which on the picture you've sent through so far, which is the garage that I was in? I was assuming it was on the left-hand side, but I might be wrong.
Yes, I believe so.
So then I've gone back to the door at the foot of the image, and I'm going anti-clockwise round from there.
Yeah.
All I was going to ask is whether or not, as I get closer, I can see what that weird little building on the right is, whether or not it's an ice house or like I'm not sure.
Did you say that one was a weird little temple?
A Greco-Roman temple.
It was Greco-Roman style, but
modern, awful,
terrible.
Modern thing.
A replica.
So you're looking through the dining room window at present.
Yeah.
And then as you go further round, you come to the kitchen, which you see probably in the kitchen. It's got a range of modern appliances, including a fridge, which is very rare, and a long sort of range cooker. There's a central island counter, cupboards, drawers, all that sort of stuff, utensils. And on the cooker are two large pots bubbling away. You can see sort of steam coming off from them, and you can see liquid boiling away in there. And then this woman appears in a pinny, and she goes over to the sink, and she fills 2 glasses with water, and she goes about making coffee.
I think, I'm assuming she's just making coffee for the guests, as it were. So I move along.
Yeah. This next room doesn't have a window. It's just a door, which is the storeroom. It's sort of a side door.
That's right.
After that, there's a laundry room. Not much to say about that.
A lot of sheets.
It's got laundry in it.
A lot of crumpled linen faces.
The next room appears to be a small sort of, like a little flat, like a little sort of apartment. You presume it's the servants' quarters. What to say about this? It's modestly furnished. There are 2 single beds with a bedside table, a lamp and a carriage clock. On each bed there is a suitcase, closed suitcase on each bed. There are 2 wardrobes and 2 chests of drawers. And there's a writing desk near the door and an old worn rug at the foot of one of the beds. So then you move around a bit further, pantry and storage room, not much to say there. And then you're back to the library, which you already looked in. You notice that facing you in the library window is an eagle. It is a large metal eagle that is the front piece of a lectern that is facing the window.
And what else can I see in the library? I can see the doors opposite, I assume. Are there places to hide? Yes. Places I could conceal myself if I were to try and enter that way?
Well, there's a lot of bookcases, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a big sort of central reading table surrounded by comfortable chairs. So you can get under the table quite easily. Right. There's a lot of books on the table that are open, as if someone's been working in here.
What I want to do is... I imagine I've done a full circumference of the house now. I can't still hear their voices, or can I still hear their voices from the same room? Or
you probably can't hear them from here. And what I will say is, as you go closer to that Greco-Roman building, you realise it's some sort of mausoleum.
Right. Well, I ain't not interested in nothing like that.
The family crypt.
I think I want to push up on the window to the library.
Yeah. You push up and it opens, slides up.
I want to climb in, close it behind me, and immediately shuffle myself behind some bookshelves. Like a pack of cards.
So you disappear like a spider into a nook. So, Cub, you've gone upstairs.
Yeah, the first thing I'd like to do, if it's all right, is ask you retrospectively whether I heard Zachary Crumb say, my name is Gabriel.
Oh, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Give me a listen roll.
I think I said it quite loudly.
A listen roll. How have I got on there? That's a regular success.
That's fine, yeah, you heard him.
That's great news. That's fantastic news. So I'm in the restroom.
Are you? You've walked up the stairs. You find yourself on a landing, long, narrow landing. There's a door. The stairs sort of curve slightly as they come up, and so there's a door directly on your left to the north. There's a door directly in front of you. Well, in fact, there's 2 doors on that wall, sort of directly in front of you, and then to your right, at the end of the landing, is a small door, which you presume is the water closet.
I'd like to follow his instructions and go straight to the bathroom or restroom, whatever it is.
Yeah, so you find yourself in the bathroom.
Salle de bain.
The salle de bain. It's a fashionably decorated bathroom. Looks relatively modern in here. There's a toilet, sink, bathtub.
They're expensive looking, very clean in here, very clean. But immediately to the right, as you go in, there is another door of a sort of enclosed part of the room, if that makes sense. Like a big airing cupboard sort of thing, but maybe not an airing cupboard. Yeah, like a big closet.
Well, I think I am aware of the pressure of time, because I'm slightly concerned about Crumb maintaining the illusion that Av has so carefully crafted, but also feeling my ablutomania quite strongly in this moment. I strip to the waist, which would be quite a sight if anyone could see me, and begin sort of washing myself under the armpits and my face. Any soap I can find, I'd probably make quite a mess. But just try and cool myself down with cold water and also get clean. I've maybe had a quick chance to splash some water on my face last time we stopped, but still haven't really washed since prison, and I still feel the grime all over me. And the anxiety of being in this place has really brought this to the fore. So I wash between all my folds of my rolls of fat and my arms and everything. I don't mean to body shame my character, but there's a lot of flesh to wash, and when I feel like I've sort of calmed down sufficiently, I start looking around to see if there's maybe a bottle of cologne that I could give myself a couple of sprays.
Yeah, there is.
Or an Airwick plug-in.
A couple of sprays of the cologne. Not enough to make people think, oh, he's just nicked our cologne. Just a little.
A little squirt.
And then I would like to have a look in this linen closet to see if there's a towel.
So you open that door, and inside there is an enclosed wooden spiral staircase that presumably leads up to the cupola that you saw.
Oh, I sort of take a beat, because I wasn't expecting that.
You get that kind of draft of cold air that you get from, attic spaces, sort of goes down over your half-naked body.
Can we have a tiny cutaway to beads of sweat rolling down my face as I'm just downing a glass of water? And then I smile. And then we cut back.
Look at him, Papa.
So I close the door again and I look around to see if I can see any towels in the room.
Yes, there is a towel on a sort of towel rail.
I take it and I sort of try and pat myself dry.
Nice.
And redress.
Give me a listen roll.
Oh, that is no good at all. It's a 91.
Am I the only person who thinks that white pine is commonly used for coffins?
Well, yeah. You see,
Yes.
I am.
Just in this moment of terror, as I currently find ourselves.
I wanted Danann to ask whether it looked like the wood had been carved or sawn, like whether it had been sawn to make a box or carved to make a. But but
I mean, to be fair, I did ask.
To be fair, you did ask about that. I tell you what, then,
yeah.
Let's retcon.
Yeah, no, I loved it. No,
It's fine, because you've left us
I
guessing.
hadn't considered that.
That's nice.
That you could identify, because of course you could. You would be able to see from the offcuts if it was a shape or if it was straight, at least.
Maybe he remembers now.
Maybe I've been mulling it over.
Is it sawdust or shavings? You know?
As I'm hiding in the library, I'm just sort of thinking of those feet I saw, underneath that fucking Chevy, whatever it was. Not a Chevy, a Lincoln, not a Lincoln. Fucking.
It was a Rolls Royce.
Rolls Royce.
A Rolls Royce. A silver Phantom.
A silver Phantom.
Silver bullet.
And I think about the shape of those curls, and I think about the material made, and I think, where have I seen that before? Only place I think I've seen that is old Pepper Brown's down near the bayou, who used to make the cheap coffins. But sometimes for his craft, the richer folks would come down that way, and he'd get some special wood in, and I don't know.
Certainly, whatever was cut in there, the offcuts are all square, straight lines.
Right.
A bit of sawdust. You think it was probably whatever was being cut was in straight lines.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing I know is cut in straight lines. A human body. I mean, a coffin. Well, anyway,
To hold a human body.
I think I am just mulling that over as I hide in a quiet corner of the library. Thank you for the jolt of memory.
While you're thinking so hard,
Yeah.
is that
Which is hard for me.
there's that niggling feeling about something about the fireplaces. You could give me another intelligence roll if you want.
Yeah. Can I see the fireplace from where I am? I suppose I can.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look. Oh, fuck my life. That is not good. 74 on a 55. Can I push it somehow? Could I get closer to the fire? If it's really drawing me, I don't think anyone's close to me. I'm still sure they're out there entertaining the new guests who I know who they are. So as far as I'm concerned,
I love a push roll that involves a fire.
yeah, I head close to the fire. I head right over to the fire. And I stick my fucking face in the fire.
Yes.
I just want
Let's
to
see how far you.
There's something maybe about the circulation of air or the circulation of God knows what, but there's something about it. Oh, finally a good roll. I got a 16 on my intelligence, which it's a hard. That ain't an extreme. That's a hard, but that's good for me.
You get very close to the fire, and then you remember when you were outside looking at that stuff that was coming down the side of the house.
Yeah,
There was no smoke coming from the chimney stacks, which is odd.
that's why I thought it was
Now-
blossom. Just those pieces.
You're very close to the fire, but it seems to give off no heat.
What the fuck? I'm gonna have to double check, because obviously my hands and my face are so scarred. Sometimes I don't pick up on heat as quick as other people might. But there's nothing there, right? Or is that
hard to
another
say.
roll? I don't want to get too close to it.
It's just sort of a bit. It's really hard to tell. It should be really hot,
Yeah.
and maybe it's warm, but it's not really hot.
And what can I see? Does it look like a normal fire? Or...
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fucking weird. I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all.
It's very strange.
If I back away from it, and I head back.
And you do feel a bit cooler. You feel a bit cooler as you back away, but it still wasn't hot enough when you were that close.
Should have been hotter. Should have been hotter.
Really hot.
I remember saying that to my cousin. She was cooking those wings down that bayou sand trap. It should have been hotter. It should have been hotter. But this time, it really should have been hotter. And I had my way back towards the door of the library and sort of listened at the hinges. So I'm still on the right side if the door is to suddenly open, but I want to hear if I can.
Well, meanwhile, back in the front room, Zachary Crumb, you're being talked to quite extensively by this patrician figure, and he's saying, "How's the water? Is it all good?
There was real.
We
good.
get it all from the
So
well.
much.
It's all drinkable."
Oh, how lovely.
Yes.
It was very.
Oh,
cool.
you have to rely on these things when you're out here. If we run dry of something, either we have to send Jeremiah over in the car, or we have to phone the general store. Takes them hours to get here, of course.
I can imagine. So, are you Bible folk?
Oh, well, in a sense, yes.
Oh, Presbyterian.
No, we are. We're interested in all religions and all belief systems. I'm a very accomplished occultist. Actually, I've written on the subject a great deal, and my daughter Veronica here is following in my footsteps. Very soon she'll be outstripping me, I think. Isn't that right, Veronica? And she sort of says, "Oh, Dad, you're embarrassing me."
Is there anything on the painting that suggests what degree she's read? What she's reading?
Probably not, but you could ask her.
So yeah. I glance at the painting and seeing nothing indicating. I say, and what did you read at your alma mater, Ms. Wayland? I say, Ms. Wayland. I wipe my brow with my cap.
She says, "Well, I studied philosophy and the occult at Miskatonic University."
Well, of course, You know, the occult is just another branch in some ways of Bible studies. If only we had our Bibles with us, but unfortunately they're in the trunk of our car that doesn't run, and we really don't want to take any more of your time up.
Not at all.
That's my esteemed
it's so
associate.
good to have visitors. Today's actually very special for us. Veronica is about to attempt something that I attempted before, and I was, I have to say, not very successful. But I have high hopes for my daughter. She is going to be taking on a very difficult ritual. Perhaps you know of it. The Abramelin operation. Are you familiar?
I will roll my occult, if you permit me. Keeper of the Arkham Magic Circle. Secretary of the Arkham Magic Circle. That's a 94 on a 25, so not quite a terrible fumble.
Been the luck.
Yeah, you've no idea what he's on about.
I say to him, I'm sorry. Did you say the Abramelin, the Abralemon, the
Abracadabra?
Did the Abracadabra? Did you say? Did you hear a voice? I think I heard a voice, and I go right up to her and I say, "Did you hear a voice?" And then I say, "What is it about the lights in this house?"
Oh,
and then I say, "No, I didn't say that out loud. Did I say that I'm Gabriel and I bring the word of the Lord?"
You have said that, yes.
Christ alive.
I think did you say the
Abramelin operation? It's a very lengthy and difficult practice, but it is the apex of ritual magic. Basically, the gist is one has to purify the body, no alcohol, no excesses, and we study texts, the Bible included, the Torah, the Quran. We prepare magical squares, and we perform a series of rituals and fasting over 6 months. And during that time, we bind demons so that they cannot hurt us in life any longer. And at the conclusion, we summon our guardian angel. So you see, that's why I was... it's so apposite that you, Gabriel, should arrive on the day that my daughter is about to go into this incredible experience. You are the Herald, after all.
I mean, I was going to try and push my occult roll, but I think probably now I don't need to do that. Because I think he's probably told me everything I would have ever known anyway about that something.
Yes.
So I've made a bit of a tit of myself, but that's...
You should stay for dinner. We're having some guests over, close friends who want to celebrate, also involved in the, have an interest in the occult. But I'm sure they'd be fascinated by your line of work, and, well, they make good company. And we've got a Rosemary! And the woman in the pinny comes back and she says, yes, Mr. Whalen. Do we have enough for 2 more for dinner? She says, oh, I'm sure. Oh, thank you. And he drinks his coffee.
Dinner? Gee. Well, that's real swell here.
And then we'll get you back on the road. How do you say that? A hot meal? And, I mean, you're welcome to stay, of course, as long as you like. But I'm sure you've got... those Bibles don't sell themselves.
Well...
Not in Arkham, anyway.
I'll have to speak to... I'll have to speak to Mr. Gutenberg about that.
Right. Right.
Oh dear, there's another name that's going to come out of my mouth.
Well, of course, but I mean, you're both very, very welcome. I can't remember what we're having, but Rosemary normally cooks up something pretty good. Well, in the meantime, Jeremiah, he says, oh, yeah, yes, Mr. Will. Oh, get these. You see, you're out of gas.
That's right.
Do we have any? We have any gas, Jeremiah?
And he says, well, if we do, it'll either be probably be in the garage or in the car. But we might have some. We might have some in the basement, or possibly in the storeroom. Alternatively, of course, you could. You can call. We could call for the general store, and they'll drive us some out. You're sure it's just the gas?
Oh, yes.
Well, I'm sure that's not a bother. Jeremiah, why don't you, relax, enjoy yourselves. I have a few things I need to get on. He gets up. And he says, my home is your home, and, yes, if you need anything, you can ask Jeremiah or Rosemary or myself or Veronica. All I ask is that you respect our privacy upstairs, and obviously you're free to use the bathroom, but otherwise feel free to relax, enjoy the garden, the library, whatever you like. And if I'm sure Jeremiah can help you look for gasoline. I haven't the faintest idea where we keep anything in this house, I'm afraid. Well,
yes, of course. As soon as my colleague comes back down, I'll help you with that, Jeremiah.
Good. Well, thank you. Yes, well, I must carry on. And he sort of excuses himself, puts his cigar back down in the ashtray. You could give me a spot hidden roll, actually.
Jesus Christ, I'm rolling really badly. That's a 93 on a 60 as well. Yeah, but it's a sort of passive thing, isn't it? I don't think there's any way I'm going to know how to push that, so too much luck to spend. Whatever it is, I miss it. I think I'm too baffled by this turn of events, of this kind of complex occult. And I'm embarrassed about what I said to try and ingratiate myself. So I just sort of wipe my brow again and smile at Veronica.
She smiles back.
Is she even plump?
No, she's
No, let it go.
She looks quite sort of athletic. She's quite young.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I think I absent-mindedly take out the little automaton that isn't quite finished out of my pocket, and I put my cap away, and I take out another little bit of metal, and I sort of start to work at it, occasionally looking at people slightly anxious.
She says, what are you working on there? Gabriel?
Working on... it's just the name that I go by for selling of the Bibles, you understand. Yes, I'm working on a little something. I didn't even know that I was working on it. I'm so sorry. It's a habit of mine. It keeps my hands busy.
I'm the same. I'm the same with the piano.
Where is he? He must have been, sorry, we had a long journey, and it's so warm. My colleague did need to, a blute, I believe, a little.
I see.
Manically.
Manically a blute.
Yes. How fascinating. This study of yours is absolutely fascinating.
Oh, well, I've been looking forward to it. I was traveling for quite a while, and, yes, well, I came home early, and then I decided now's the time because of that.
What a strange coincidence that the Lord should bring us to your door.
Well, quite. That's right.
I don't suppose I could have some of that coffee.
Oh, by all means, help yourself. We probably have something a bit stronger if you'd like.
Oh, no, I should have coffee.
I understand. Well, I should be getting on as well, but if there's anything you need, I'll be in the library.
Oh, thank you, Miss Veronica, Miss Whalen.
Oh, Veronica's fine. So back upstairs, what's Cub doing now?
Is there a lock on the bathroom door?
Yeah.
Having composed myself, and in the interests of moving forward rather than backwards, I make sure the bathroom door is locked, and then I open that door again and have a look up those stairs.
Okay. You go up these creaky wooden steps into the cupola. It's bare floorboards up here, and the cupola has nothing in it except for one old wooden rocking chair with a very tall back that seems to be facing the east window. The views from here are beautiful. You imagine sunrises and sunsets must be quite extraordinary to watch from here.
Worth my while doing a little I sort of scan around the room to see if there's anything I've missed, or you've told me everything there is to see.
At present, I've told you everything there is to see.
Yeah, fine. I don't want to. I really don't want to be gone too long, so I make my way back down the stairs, unlock the door, and then start my way down the hall and back down the stairs. And I imagine that whole thing has probably got me back. I think I've only missed what you've already narrated, I imagine.
Yeah, sure. So you find Crumb in the front room, on his own now. Jeremiah's there, and he says, yes, if you need me to, if you want to help me have a look for gasoline, I'm more than happy to take you out to the garage, or we could phone the general store.
Oh, no, let's not bother the general store. I think let's check the garage, I say, thinking, is he still in there? Knuckles.
Mr. Gutenberg, we've been invited to dinner. And then these good people are happy to send us on our way with some gasoline. I offered to help Mr. Jeremiah here.
Oh, Gabriel, how kind. I told you that we could rely on the kindness of strangers, but I don't believe we can impose. And anyway, we have places to be.
I agree entirely. And Jeremiah, I apologize, but I did say that I'd have to discuss this.
Of course. I understand completely.
It turns out that they're undertaking an interesting ritual.
Is that so?
Yes, it is. And I wipe sweat from my brow. The Alma Lemon? No, it's about drawing a guardian angel to your side.
Oh, how incredibly appropriate, Gabriel, that you and I should come to this house selling the word of God, not to make any profit for ourselves, of course, but only for the church, and these people should be summoning angels to them. Well, they have no need of their ritual. The angels are here.
And yet they are determined. Ms. Veronica, here in the painting, I just met her. She, that's right, Jeremiah, she's going to undertake this, and her father, Mr. Augustus Wayland, it's so sad that you missed him. I'm sure he'll be back at some stage. He told me that he's proud of her for making the attempt. But perhaps that gasoline I could help you with, Jeremiah.
Oh, yes. Yes, well, I have to say it is refreshing to have some people here who aren't obsessed with this ritual stuff. Yes. I don't really understand it myself, to be honest. I just work for the Waylands. My wife and I, we've had a very nice time here. We're very grateful for the position we've had. The Waylands are very nice people. I don't know. And Veronica, when she was younger, my wife and I, we had to look after her like she was our own, and she was a good girl. And then, of course, as soon as she started old enough to take an interest in her father's work, well, then suddenly he was all over her like a rash.
My eyes go wide.
Yes, but yeah. So the upside, of course, is that whenever they're undertaking their long operations, as he calls them, then last time my wife and Rosemary and I, we got paid leave 6 months. Very good. And Veronica, I hope it goes well for her because, she's, not long ago I had to help her through a difficult bereavement. She was very upset.
I'm sad to hear that. I say, looking meaningfully at Cub.
Yes, it weighed heavy on her, poor girl.
This coffee is real good.
Oh, I'm glad.
Perhaps you could tell us a little more as we make our way across to the garage, if that's the place where we're most likely to find the sustenance that our vehicle requires to continue its journey along the road.
Oh, of course. And he walks you. The front door is still open, wide open, and he starts leading you across the garden. And he says, but tell you more about what?
You say there was a bereavement.
Oh, yes, it weighed on Veronica very heavily.
Was it a family member or a friend?
He sort of looks blankly for a second.
Oh, forgive me. I should not pry.
Oh,
I don't know why.
not at all.
Caught my attention.
Well, it was very... weighed very heavily on her. It was... who was it now?
You said that he looked blankly for a second. Is it the kind of blankness that a person of a lesser willpower might feel when subjugated by a great and powerful authority such as my mother? Could I roll psychology?
You can roll psychology if you want.
Yeah, because my mother sometimes had that effect on people. They just look blankly after spending an hour with her. No insights. 50 on a 33. No, I feel like I sensed something, but
Who was it? Well, nevertheless, it weighed on Veronica very heavily. Here's the garage.
grief is.
I step ahead and say, "Oh well, please allow me," and try and sort of take the door and open the door ahead of it, if the door is closed again.
Was it closed again, Knuckles?
Well, you said that it was open when I first went in, which is a fair cop. But I imagine afterwards I would have.
Okay.
I did a full circumference of the building, so my instinct would have been to close it, but I'm happy to argue that fact.
Yeah, it's closed then. Yeah. And as you step inside, I am just going to cut back to Knuckles.
Yeah.
So you've been waiting at the library door, and you hear footsteps approaching.
On the hinge side of the door, to be clear.
On the hinge side of the door. Okay. So you wait there and hide behind the door.
Yeah.
Well, the door opens, and a young woman walks in.
As soon as I have a chance, I still have my chisel in my hand. I want to grab her around the neck, put the chisel to her throat, but what I'm going to attempt to do might be slightly complex, so I'll roll for it. But what I want to do is clamp one hand over her nose and mouth, put the chisel to her throat, and put my knee into the small of her back, and try and force her to her knees like that.
So it sounds like you're trying to. I think with the hand clamping, you're trying to do it before she can scream or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that's it's going to be an opposed dex roll.
My dex isn't great, to be fair, but my stealth is good, so I was sort of hoping my stealth would be the thing that could lead me into it, but I'll go dex.
Oh, well, no, actually, yeah, you can roll stealth. Yeah, well.
Yeah, my stealth is better than my dex. It's like he's more of that spider that just jumps. But yeah, if you're happy to take that, let's give it a roll.
What's your spot hidden, by the way?
Well, I just got really good success. My spot hidden is 60, and I just rolled a 14 on my 60 stealth, which is 2 off an extreme.
Well, she rolled very badly, so she has no idea you're there.
Okay, good.
And you do all of that. You clamp her
like a huntsman.
You clamp her mouth. You get the chisel up to her neck.
Yeah.
You've got. Yeah. She can't move. What do you do?
In which case, I don't say anything. I just slip very quickly into a rear naked choke, and I just make her unconscious.
A what?
I basically put the bone of my forearm against her windpipe and just press her head forwards so she...
It's the way that people like LeBlanc talk to each other. It's all rear naked choke and I don't know, southpaw approach, and it's like another language.
I wouldn't want anybody to misunderstand him when he talked about putting a young lady into a rear naked...
Yeah, listen, I ain't no listener of Joe Rogan, but at the same time, I know my martial arts, even if they've not been invented at this point. It's, yeah. So basically, I want to choke her out.
Okay. So yeah, you choke her out, and she falls unconscious. And sort of crumples onto the floor.
I want to drag her to wherever in the library seems like the least discoverable place, whether it's a little nook or whatever, under a little, or whether it's under the table. Either way, I want to do that.
You could either you could get her under the table. You could. There's a space in this lectern that you could stuff her in.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Just about fit a human being into it. It's because it's a big lectern.
I'll drag her over to the lectern. I'll sort of stuff her into the lectern. On the way in, she doesn't have anything on her, I'm assuming. But I give her a quick pat down. And then I'm like, okay, one down. And I pull my chisel back out of my pocket And I want to walk back over to the... Well, I want to walk back over to the library door and see if I can hear voices. I've got one eye on the window.
So which door do you walk to? So there is a...
yes.
There's the door that she came through is the one into the hall. And then on the other side of the room, there's a door into the kitchen and there's a door into the storage room.
Oh, yes. I've got you. I was thinking the door towards the dining room. Because there's... is there not also off the library, there's a door to the hall, a door to the dining room, a door to the kitchen, a door to the storage room?
Oh, yes, sorry, yes. So in the south wall of the library, there's a walk-in cupboard. So you could have put her in there. And the same thing is in the dining room. Sort of the reverse of it. So they don't actually connect.
Can I... Well, I might not retcon, I might just change my mind and drag her from the lectern into that storage room. Unless there's anything obviously of value in the storage room. I close the door and I want to sort of try and kick off the handle or like jam the lock or do something like that.
Give me a strength roll.
Oh, I would fucking love to do that. That's my highest thing. 36, which is a hard success on my strength, which is ridiculous.
Fantastic. You break the handle off, so you're fairly sure that no one can get out of there now.
Great.
And as soon as you do that, the door that she came through opens, and she comes through the door. And she says, "Oh, hello."
This was an Apocalypse Players production. For more information about the podcast, go to apocalypseplayers.com. Thanks for listening.